6:36. We're live in Codsall this morning as we prepare to celebrate with that big Jubilee lunch. People here are going to be getting ready. I think they may be doing some of the prep in their kitchens this morning because it is a little bit wet, but it is, I dare to say, easing off from what it was first thing this morning. So hopefully things will continue to improve. Loads of you getting in touch this morning. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Catherine, morning to you, Catherine. Now, I need to see you this morning, Catherine, because she says it's good to see you in Codsall. I'm in Shifnal, 10 miles away. Love the bow tie, thank you very much. So come on down a little bit later on, maybe 8, 9 o'clock, and come and say hello. Annette says that I make you smile this morning. Is that because I'm being very British and just putting it with the weather? I love to follow your show from sunny South Sweden. Well, I hope you're having a nice time in Sweden this morning. Are you marking the Jubilee there at all? Pete in the West Midlands says the Platinum concert was outstanding, brilliant, uplifting, energetic, a true tribute to a fantastic Queen, and I believe was enjoyed and will be remembered for many, many years. I look forward to getting hold of the DVD of the concert. It was, Pete, wasn't it? Quite something, you have to say. It was quite an amazing event. My favourite part was Paddington Bear. I just thought that was magical for some reason. Let us know what you think. GBNEWS at gbnews.uk. Let's have a look at the newspapers for you this morning. And we'll start with the Mail on Sunday. It has a picture from the Queen's cameo appearance alongside Paddington Bear with the headline, Marmalade, Your Majesty. Rock and Roll, says the Sunday Mirror, with a picture of Brian May, Dr. Brian May, kicking off the party at the Palace last night. Great man that he is. Sunday Times has a picture of the Queen having tea with Paddington Bear, saying it was a party of a lifetime for the world's grandmother. And the Sunday Express quotes Prince Charles, who said, "Thank you for being there, Mummy." Okay, let's go through the papers then in a bit more detail. And joining us once again, Royal broadcaster and commentator Rafe Manku, and our very own Neil Oliver. Good to see you both this morning. Rafe, let's kick off with a bit of that Paddington Bear, should we? I just can't resist.
Yes, absolutely. Can I just say that I'm having a bit of deja vu, because for the Diamond Jubilee 10 years ago, I did the 6 a.m. paper review in the freezing cold and the rain. So to me, this is a bit of a tradition I'm having with my own Jubilees. But yes, when you first get to meet a member of the Royal Family or the Queen, you're advised by Royal courtiers to say ma'am as in jam, but today it's ma'am as in marmalade. And the Queen had this wonderful little comic moment with Paddington Bear, two great British icons uniting, and we finally got to discover what's in the Queen's handbag. For generations we've wondered about this, now we know it's marmalade sandwiches. And it was a wonderful way to set off, in a very British cheeky way, to set off the Platinum Jubilee celebration, including the Queen and Paddington Bear tapping in Queen's We Will Rock You on their teacups before they began to play.
There was something just a little bit special about that, wasn't there? Because we get to see a lighter side of the Queen, which we don't often see in public.
Yeah, I mean, clearly there was huge response to the James Bond episode, for the Olympics, which went in incredibly well. I like the fact that it was James Bond that time around, and Michael Bond is the author of the Paddington books. A little bit of continuity there. Yeah, whoever came up with it, I think it's a small work of genius. Paddington is a strangely traditional figure, given that he comes from darkest, deepest Peru. But there's something quintessentially, I suppose, English about Paddington Bear in his attitudes and the inherent comedy in it. But yeah, lovely moment, I suppose.
Looking at the event itself last night, Rafe, I mean, the Sunday Mirror's got a lot of this. I mean, a lot of rock and roll, which you sort of can't imagine where it's particularly the Queen's cup of tea. But she's catering for the wider audience there, isn't she?
Yes, it's more a party for the people rather than a platinum party for the Queen. The Queen's favourite singer was George Formby, which I'm a huge fan of, but I'm not quite sure When I'm Killing Windows would electrify the crowd in quite the same way as some of the more recent performances that we saw, including, Andrew Lloyd Webber doing musicals as well. It was quite a smorgasbord.
With Jason Donovan.
Jason Donovan, who I remember fondly from Neighbours time, in his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Andrea Bocelli brought a tear to Camilla's eye when he sang Nessun Dorma. There was something for everyone in that, I think. And of course the great stalwarts, which everyone always relies on for Jubilees, Elton John, Rod Stewart, wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, are you a man of music, Neil?
I just enjoyed the fact, I think after the 2 years that the nation has had, I think anything where you see a gathering of the multitude in that way, you know, all of the images of the sheer volume of people that had come together, you know, which completely casts aside notions of there being any kind of lack of patriotism in the country. I mean, the whole thing just underlined that when you get down to the grassroots, when you get down to the people, there is a natural, genuine, heartfelt love of country, love of tradition, love of pageantry, love of heritage. And I think whatever event had been thrown last night, and whichever individuals were there on the stage, I think it was really about the people. I think it was really a celebration, a spontaneous coming together of the people, which was so much needed after 2 years of all the atomised separation, not being to get together.
You can really see that in terms of the number of street parties, which far exceed those of 10 years ago, far exceed those of the Golden Jubilee. We're on the level sort of the Silver Jubilee of 1977, and Britain has transformed so dramatically. Nobody would have imagined now that there would be 100,000 street parties. We don't know how many of them are going to take place now, but at least as of yesterday, 100,000 street parties taking place in some form across the country.
I think that aspect is something that the present politicians of all stripes have a deaf ear for. They've got a tin ear for the natural enthusiasms of the vast majority of the population. And I think the natural enthusiasm that was brought out by and was with the Jubilee being its focal point, it underlines that love of country that I think the political parties have just been deaf to.
I was going to say, what do you make of it all, Neil? Because I mean, you're a man who I fondly remember watching, sort of walking around the coast of Britain a few years ago.
I fondly remember that.
But you know, you've got to through that line of work, if nothing else, you've got to meet all different sorts of people and different communities and different views on the UK. And this is something which I think brings people together, but does stretch them from tail to top.
Yes, one of the many aspects of Britain that I grew to love through that project was the variety. You know, it's an island of tribes, but there are many different types of peoples, you know, who are brought together as one. Many accents, many ways of life. It's such a rich tapestry. But at times and when required, the place comes together as one, and there are unifying characteristics in the country. And given the opportunity to come together for something like the Jubilee, then you see the inherent union of the people. And I think it can be, I think some people like to sneer at it and to look down at it, but it's a big mistake to do that because it's innate, inherent, and given the opportunity, the people come together to mark these events.
But is that why the royal family is important? Because although they technically don't hold any power now, and there's always calls by the Republicans and what have you to try and move on. But it does give us that one unifying point, does it, that perhaps we would lose without them.
And I think, though, perhaps uniquely, really now in the personality, the character of the Queen herself. I mean, that irreplaceable continuity of someone whose reign spanned 70 years, from Churchill and through all of the here today, gone tomorrow politicians that are the stepping stones. She has always been there. And that kind of continuity that you have from a monarch is not to be rivaled by that of a president or whoever has a couple of terms and then is replaced by someone else. And as David Starkey on this channel and others have pointed out, that the countries that have been most stable and most resilient have been those that have constitutional monarchies of the sort that we have. And our constitutional monarchy at the moment, under the Queen, with a reign of 70 years, stands supreme.
I like that. It stands supreme. Perfect. Neil, Rafe, we've got to leave it there for now, but we'll catch you both a little bit later on. Thank you very much indeed.